Hello, hello. My name is Suraj. I'm from Classcard. For those of you who don't know, we're a simple and beautiful way to manage your classes' businesses. Apart from that, we also give these businesses a nice online booking page where customers can see and discover their classes, and we take care of all the boring admin work like attendance marking, scheduling, and invoicing. Today, I have with me a very dynamic business owner called Sandhya from the Ido Movement. It's a homegrown brand in Dubai itself, and they provide well designed uniforms for dance schools. Sandhya, thank you so much for joining me here. I'm so excited to do this with you. Could you just give us a quick introduction into yourself and the Ido Moment?
Thanks so much, Suraj, for having me here, and it's so nice to connect with you and what you do. Um, so I run a clothing line called the Ido Movement, and Ido Movement was born because of my love for dance and clothing. Being a fashion designer and just creating waste for so many years, I decided to do something that would make a difference. And because I'm so passionate about dance, I decided to make a sustainable clothing line for dancers. And when we started in around 2020, we were the first um, sustainable clothing line for dancers. Yes, there are yoga brands and things, but we are not a yoga brand. We are a dance brand that is inspired by movers and dancers and artists that are in the GCC. And we like to think of ourselves as, being inspired by movement and people that are around us.
Okay, like let's like rewind and take it from the beginning. Let's what inspired you to start your own business?
So it's not my first rodeo.
Mm.
Being a fashion designer, I think this is my third or fourth label.
Mm-hmm.
I'm born and bred in South Africa, and I've been living in the GCC for 15 years now.
Wow.
So when I first graduated in fashion, I was like every other fashion designer, wanted to have my own line of clothing and create ranges. And then as time went on, because of my passion for dance and my dad running his own dance school in South Africa, as well as being a medical doctor, I started getting involved in costume design. And for the last 25 odd years, I've been making costume design for dancers. Um, and although in South Africa, I had a clothing line that was just everyday pret-a-porter or high fashion. When I came to the GCC, I found it difficult to keep up with that because it was just flooded. The market was completely flooded with so many designers. And I needed to find something that was a little bit more niche. And I think it was just a gradual process because as someone that's been taking dance classes her whole life, I started meeting with a lot of dancers in the schools and the artists and the choreographers. And it was like a natural progression of, hey, can't you make us, like, we like your style, can't you make us some costumes? And from there it developed into like, let me do your costumes, let me create this. And then there was just said to me, we don't have cool things to wear, because I was mainly dealing with contemporary dancers. So make us something cool to wear to class. And then this whole thing spread out and like escalated to actually creating like a line of clothing for dancers. But then I thought I wanted to be different. And I was then dabbling with this idea because I was working in advertising for 10 years, like doing all the shopping on set. And there was so much waste going on. And it was just so bad for how I was feeling and what I thought it was doing for the environment. And I thought, let me dig deeper to see if there's ways we can make sustainable clothing, things that would go back to the earth, things that would be long lasting. Because again, I think as dancers, we spend so much money on our classes, and then we need to spend money on our clothes, and we got to replenish. I wanted things to last longer and also have this unisex appeal to it. And having my master's in Japanese design and this whole minimalist feel to clothing, and a lot of black, and as you can see, I wear a lot of black. I wanted it to have this longevity to it. So that's when the Ido movement was born, and I started creating clothes for the dancers that I was coming in contact with. And then it came down to this naming thing, like what is this should be called or what that should be called. And I think my because I'm such a visual person, I'm in a class and I'm never focused on what the teacher's saying. I'm always focused on, oh my god, she would look so amazing in, like, this, or he's got such cool moves, maybe like, and you can see them pulling things up. So it was like this whole point of trying to create clothes that they could be completely comfortable in and did not take away from their movement. So then I started naming each piece after a dancer that I was working with or knew. Um, and also just to kind of give them something back, because I feel like in sports, there's always someone like giving a sponsor, like, you have your Adidas, this, that, and the other that are sponsoring um, the athletes. But the dancers are like the true like visionaries, for me, they're the true artists. They're the ones that create. They're the ones that, um, bring energy, they make you feel something. You take a class, you feel, even if you're having the worst day of your life, you take a class and you feel when you walk out of there, like, I've done something for myself. I feel so alive. And also, I just wanted when people wear the clothes, they like don't feel restricted. They feel inspired. There's words on it. There's something about the person that is inspired it. And I think that was the whole point of creating something that was just beautiful, just that I wanted to do something different. And slowly, I see it growing and people understanding it. And, quality is so important. And again, for me, because my background is fashion and I have this master's and I do research and I, read a lot about what textiles I should be using or what cuts like I need to be thinking of. It's a really like a personal journey for myself as well. So for me, this is just something that I just love doing, and like I've turned it into a business.
I want to double click into so many things out there. but
Talk a lot.
but I love the fact of you mentioning very categorically that your niche is not yoga and your niche is dance.
Yes.
How did you understand that difference? And I'm sure, like, forgive me for my ignorance. I'm one of those people who would not understand the difference too well.
Yes.
So for people to understand the difference between dance and yoga, like, how would you explain that to them?
So for me, it's like when you're doing yoga, you're wearing your yoga pants and your tights and your crop tops. And then when I think of dance, I think of movement and flowingness and clothes that move with you. So I think like when I think yoga, I think like everything is fitted. And when I think dance, I think everything is flowing and moving and, a little bit baggy. And then again, like I said, I work with contemporary dancers. So, they like oversized, but they don't want you to be restrictive. They don't want it to be there's a man or a female. It's like a unisex look. So I think from that, they're like yes, there's hoodies and there's track pants and things, but with the Ido movement, I wanted to create something that's a little bit more edgy, like maybe they uneven lengths. Maybe there's a print on it. Maybe it's got some artwork on it that's inspired by an artist that I'm working with. Just something that when I say movers, it's people that move. Like they like it can be anybody that does hip hop, jazz, whatever. But like pieces should move with you. So again, also because I'm a person that also, like I say, I take classes and then I'm running my company, then I'm seeing to my child, and then I'm trying to see to everything else. I always try to dress for the whole day, and for me, that's a sustainable not idea, but it's like the fact that you need to get dressed in the morning and do all your activities, although they're so different. The amount of washing or time you're taking to wash your clothes and prepare yourself for the day shouldn't be like I need 10 sets of clothing, or why do I need a special outfit for each activity that I'm doing. And this is again comes back to the sustainability aspect. So like right now I'm doing this interview and I got this nice jacket on, but I've got my joggers on that is from the Ido movement. That's really trendy. And I'm going straight to a class, and then from there I'm going to a school pickup, and from there I'm going to something else. But the idea is you dress once and the clothes should take you through your day. So we have bodysuits that you can even swim with, you can go to class with, you can go to a night out. We have joggers that are unisex, men, lady, anybody could wear them. We have like t-shirts and things that you can wear, dress up or dress down. So the idea is that one item should take you through many aspects of your life. So what I also love is a lot of my clientele Emirates airline staff. And again, they traveling to places, but they can easily take a leotard from the Ido movement and go to a yoga dance class. wear it out for a night out because they velvet or something, and still go swimming in it. So you're taking that one piece and you're doing many activities with it. And I think that's also why I think you shouldn't have this much clothes in your wardrobe. You should have this much clothes in your wardrobe, and each one like can move from an activity to an activity. And I think that also comes back to building a sustainable wardrobe that is a reflection of you, because I think coming from a fashion background and also lecturing in design for 10 years, I worked as a lecturer in South Africa and in Dubai. And I think like the education system also, like I graduated many years ago, but it was like we need to have a winter collection, a summer collection, a resort, a this, a that. Why? We're just creating more waste. Why can't it be that you can have this item of clothing for 10 years in your wardrobe? Why can't the quality be so good that it can last longer? Yes, it's not going to make much profit, but the thing is, it's doing something for the environment. So everything we select, also the fabrics I choose to work with, and think it's either regenerated, um, biodegradable, or natural fibers. So try to work on those things so that the clothes last longer and you can wear them longer and you can share them. So once you're done, you can pass it on, or you could like in the time of COVID, we were all sharing clothes, right? So nobody wanted to do washing. So whether you pulled out something from the wash basket that was yours or your husband's or your girlfriend's or whatever, you could still wear it. So that's where this whole idea of unisex also came up, was why do we have to have male and female? At the end of the day, we have two arms, two legs, So it was just like rethinking everything that we were doing. And also because my master's is in Japanese design, and that's the Japanese way of thinking, with working and studying all these designers, was like, why do we need all of this? Why can't we redefine what we already know? Like, why can't we take something and just make it into something else? And I think that also became so ingrained in the way I started thinking and the way I started designing. I was like, we need to rethink how we're making clothing. So hence the Ido movement.
You mentioned about your experience with advertising, and I'm sure it's a major transition of
Yeah.
careers, right? I'm sure many people would also be in the similar boat where they're thinking of transitioning careers. How do you think that experience with advertising helped you like build your business? Were there some key learnings or takeaways from there?
So I was a stylist on set. So basically, we shot many campaigns for all the big brands, and my job was just to shop looks and put them together and dress people. And the amount of waste I saw in that was just overwhelming, like 30, 40 looks, and then after the shoot's done, we just tossing them into some room. And I think that effect on me was like, this is so bad for the environment. And also I felt like I felt empty, because I had this design degree and I lectured and ran my own companies for 10 years. And then I came to Dubai because my husband's company moved him here. And then to restart the entire, my business, and, having to relocate to Dubai, I couldn't do it, because in South Africa, I had my own setup, my own people working for me, and then have to run that in South Africa and live in Dubai. It was just a bit too challenging. So when I got to Dubai, it was like, I need to do something, and there weren't many universities open, so I couldn't really lecture. It was only in Saudi Arabia, and I was like, I just got married. Like, I can't just be like running off to Saudi Arabia now. So at the time I started, just speaking to people, and they were like, oh, well, you got the fashion degree, so you could easily become a stylist. So I was like, oh, that's exciting. Like, you shop for a living, you go to set, you see all these amazing places, you're on an airline one day, you in Burj Al Arab one next day. I mean, it was really exciting time of my life, and I loved it. But 10 years on, and then having my son, I was like, I'm sitting 18 hours on set, I'm, not looking after myself. I'm steaming clothes for a living, because, I mean, at the end of the day, you're just wasting and you're waiting. And I just felt this void, and I thought, you know what? I'm a creative. I need to do something. I need to start creating again. And although I had finished the masters in like 2013, I hadn't started doing anything with it till 2020, because I graduated. It was like, okay, yes, congratulations, whatever. And then what? Because I started lecturing a bit in Dubai, and then was asked to be the head of department. And I thought, again, I don't want to be preaching what I don't believe in, because again, teaching students to create ranges and just churn out, and now, yes, it's changed with um, DI, and a lot of the campuses that have now changed because they were thinking sustainability. But 10 years ago, no, they weren't. And I think that's a wonderful change, because um, it has to come from ground roots, right? You have to start saying at ground roots, listen, we need to consider the environment. We need to be thinking of how much waste is going at, like, what is fast fashion, what is slow fashion. And I think now it's such a big thing. But 10 years ago, when I was preaching, it was like, I just can't be telling these students to create more ranges, because we are doing it all wrong. And that's also why I stopped working in that. And then the advertising was just a really nice place, and then to work for a while, and then completely just started hating it, because I could just feel it wasn't aligning with my values and what I was thinking. Um, I mean, and I think, again, it comes with time and progression of listening to what your body's saying and what your mind is saying and what your heart is saying, to say, I need to change. And like now, 5 years on, I'm with the Ido Movement, and I love it because I meet amazing people. I meet artists and dancers, and I see what they're doing and creating, and I just want to be part of that journey. And again, it's just to fill my own soul. It's not to like we need to have a new range today. No, it's like when I feel it, and when I think we should have a new collection. I think these ones are going well, or maybe we need to change things here. I just adapt to that. I don't put the pressure on myself to say create a billion ranges or create like all this waste, because I don't believe in that.
So obviously, as a customer, we hear a lot of sustainability. Like I think every brand, be it Adidas, Nike, sportswear, they all are talking about sustainability. Even Apple, for that matter.
Yes.
Is that truly sustainable, or are they just like is using it as a marketing?
I think it does come down to marketing, because at the end of the day, big brands need to show profit.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way they're going to show profit is by selling. So, I mean, it's like a scale. You can't wait up. It's unless we're creating less,
Mm-hmm.
is it actually going to be sustainable. And again, we keep on making new things and new things and new things, and bigger shopping malls and more shopping malls and more stores. And how do we impact on like the environment if we keep on doing that? So I think it is a marketing thing. But again, I think the only way we can change this is to change the way customers shop. And again, what are you shopping for? Like we are so influenced by what is happening in the movies, or what the celebrity is wearing, that kind of thing. And people need to kind of stop thinking that, and think about who they are and who they are as a person, because being an individual and having your own style is so important, because it says so much about you. And I think that's also why we do limited quantities, and only if we think we should create more, we would create more. But I mean, everything is about, yes, sustainability, but is it really, unless we're using secondhand clothes and working with people to create, recreate, or reinvent something that's already been tossed out. So again, it comes down to this, like, we can't balance scales unless we start educating it ground grassroots.
Yeah, and when it comes to the business sense of doing something like this from the inside, uh, as a customer, should I expect be paying more for something like this, or should I be expecting to pay around the same market value?
So I always had this in my mind, that I would keep the pricing on the same level. If you were going to choose something from H&M, Zara, and you would choose something from us, it should be on the same par. And we've kind of managed to do that, because we've moved our production here. We very select of our fabrics. And if you had the choice, would you choose something from a local brand or a homegrown brand or a small brand? than choose something from the bigger market and the run of the mill stuff. So I think we wanted to give like customers that opportunity to be selective, but then it was again getting the word out there, people knowing who we are, getting the people to try on our stuff, give us the feedback again. And that's what we also like I pride myself on that, because everything that we produce, I produce one, I make the sample, I'll try it on, I'll test it for a few days, I give a few out, I said, like, try this, give me your honest feedback, see how you feel, how it's washed, this, that, and the other. And people feel part of that community, that brand, that look and feel. And I must say it's like a weird thing, because we have these socks and they made in bamboo. And bamboo, we chose bamboo because first of all it grows faster than cotton, and also you don't slip as much when you're on the dance floor, because it's moisture weakening, so the moisture kind of grips the floor. And they're very distinct, so they're very plain, and they just have a stripe at the back. And as people go to classes, they see these socks, okay? And then when they're new in the class, they're like, so why does everybody have the same? So it was like the silent language that was going on, that, if you're part of this community, you should have these socks. And I think it just kind of grew from there. But it's, again, creating that community feel and people being part of the journey that I feel like I'm on. And like, I just love always, why don't you try this, or why don't you try this product and see how you feel about it, and give me your honest feedback of where we can improve on it. And I think that a lot of customers appreciate, and like, even if someone buys something, they might get a free sock to just say, hey, a tester, let us know what you think. So again, it's like you feel like someone personal, and I mean, it's me, I'm the one that's sending you that message, and I'm the owner of the brand. So it's not like you're speaking to a chat box, or you're speaking to like someone that doesn't know anything of the brand. I always try to make it quite personal, so that people feel that they are part of this journey.
Nice. And how often is your husband or your son like
Part of the
a
journey.
part of the journey?
Oh, 24/7. So my son is 9 now, and he wears the socks to school also, because it's so hot in Dubai. And again, for him, I couldn't find socks that were breathable and cotton rich and looked nice. And you're in school the whole day, and then you come back and your toes are smelly.
Yeah.
So the thing with bamboo is it kills, it doesn't have like bacteria, it doesn't it's very breathable, it's very healthy for your feet. So he and all his friends started wearing it. And my husband also, he's basically helped me build he's in technology, so obviously he helped me build the website. Is like the very structured in his thinking. So we are like, I'm very creative, he's very linear, I would say. So he helps with like all the admin things. And then we have like part-time graphic designer, part-time accountant, and we have our manufacturers, and like I do the patterns, all the things. So, and my son also, he was naming most of the socks as well, and he also has his opinion of what I should be doing. So I think that also helps a lot, because as kids growing up, you want to be influenced by certain things. I think like my dad being a dancer and a medical doctor had influenced my career, because had I not made costumes for his productions, or not being part of show business, I would not understand what it is to what is dance, what is community, what is having a showcase on. And that's why I think also with Classcard, I think it's so cool, because coming from South Africa into the UAE, knowing no one, I needed to go back to finding a community. And the best way I found a community was taking classes. And I think that's how also I felt like this became home, because by taking these classes and mixing with people that were in the classes, I found that this is who I am. Like, I need to be in dance and design to actually feel like a full person, like it filled the void. And had I not found that, I would have been a Jumeirah Jane, lying on the beachfront, you know. So I think it's really important, of where you can find community. And again, it's my cup of coffee. If I go to a class, I know I will meet an amazing group of people, all professional again. And I think that's also um, being like older and not having your actual friends around you, like that ones you've grown up with. When you go to a class, uh, you meet people that have the same interests, like art, design, reporters. This one's writing for this. She's a poet. She's this. But they all have their full on career, and then the class is something that they all do together. We all do together, and just mixing and again just feeding off each other's energies is amazing.
Nice. And I think this is a pretty cool hack that you just mentioned. I think people coming into the country new
Yes.
have no your connections initially, and then they have to find their people.
Yes.
So classes is definitely an interesting one that you mentioned.
I think classes are the best thing you could do for yourself because, again, you're getting the exercise, the endorphins are released, and you're finding people that are just maybe passing through from different communities. And again, Dubai is so cosmopolitan. Had I studied in my own country, I would not have known these things. And you was influenced and inspired by so much around you if you go to these classes. And again, there's so many different types of dance that you like. I never had an opportunity. I grew up in apartheid South Africa. So can you imagine you're born brown. So please just go sit in your corner. You're not allowed to do this. You're not allowed to take a ballet class because ballet is for white people. So just being part of a community that's actually just accepting of who you are, no judgment. It's a dance class. It's actually a dance class that you like. Honestly, if I didn't have a dance class, I would have, been back in South Africa, just saying I'm staying here because I don't feel like I'm part of a community. And you see the same people every week because this is the schedule, these are the classes, and then that's how you become a friend. And then you like going to someone's party, then you go into someone's opening. We had someone that was a singer, we went to his launch of his album, so the thing is you meet so much. And then again, being a designer, it's like, can't you design my costumes, can't you do this? So I think it's, for me, it's the biggest network have ever found was through dance classes, and I do quite a few in different places. So it's for me, again, good for my business, good for my network, and good for my soul. So, and I feel very inspired after class.
I mean, a scary thing that I would think of in your journey is like setting up your production in Dubai itself. It
Yes.
sounds expensive, sounds scary. How do you like deconstruct this whole
So
thing?
initially when I started, I was producing my things in Indonesia because I needed to use specific fabrics. But the problem with that was, first of all, it was taking too long. It was COVID. We were getting 9 months and super expensive. And again, I was like using all my savings that I saved for years in working in advertising. Then I started working with a few suppliers because my husband's company knew some Chinese vendors, and started producing stuff through there. And again, like, it was just such large quantities and such exorbitant prices and timelines. And then eventually, with searching and searching and searching, I found like a few factories I could work with here. I mean, we still have many teething problems. Communication is like much better, but I mean, we go through so much sampling just to get one product right. It's amazing how much money goes into that. But the thing is, I figured that if it's not made locally, um, again, it's that impact of like you importing, you know we don't know what slave labor is going on, and I need to see physically what is happening in the factory. So I like to vet every place that I work with and where things are coming from. So I like that communication, and I think with Dubai and the GCC, it's growing so much with creating their own. Like, we have so much now farming, vertical farming, aquaponics. We're all about sustainability. Why not, start supporting businesses here? Plus, I think because of my design background, like, these are things they've never made before. They've never done this before. But I mean, I have in my own home every machine under the sun, industrial machines. I sew things myself. I can make everything myself. I mean, it wouldn't be as beautiful as what the factory can produce, but the thing is, I'm very hands on, so I know how to put things together. So if I tell them like this is the way it should be done, and they've never done it in their life before, at least I know um, that knowledge that I still have of 25 years of design is still, still being imparted to someone that's, going to make my things here. So, and seeing to every aspect of it, like to the centimeter, I'd be like, can you just adjust this much? I mean, they probably think I'm mental, but at the end of the day, I know what I want it to look like and how the finish should be and what finish should be on it, because that's what I've done my whole life. So I think that's one of the reasons why I also wanted to start producing here. And I would say on par would be about the same, like maybe slightly cheaper to produce here than having to import, because having my things made and having it imported was really costing a lot. And then obviously customs this, and then running your trade licenses and everything, it's a challenge. So like this, I can have them quicker and also smaller quantities, and then have to fix things more quicker. So I think the move to actually produce here uh, was the best thing I did.
Nice. And I'm sure there are a lot of moms like you who think of starting their own business, but something holds them back. Like anything that you have as a suggestion?
I mean, I think it's hard to find the balance, right? Like for me, I always said I'm starting this because I felt like honestly, I feel like my whole life I've done so many things already. I worked in TV, I've worked on as a lecturer, I've done like two, three brands. So for me, uh, I said I want to do something that's now, have no regrets. Like I don't want to wake up at 50 and be like, I should have. So I said to myself, rather start and do something and then see how I feel about it. Once I've done it, it's done. I don't have to prove it to myself again and again. And I think the thing is balance, right? So again, my husband travels a lot. To run the company, to run a household, to see to my child, it's crazy. But that's I also told myself I want it online, so I don't have the same issues I had in South Africa, because South Africa I had my own setup, people coming to work, people, I depending on me, um, clock in, clock out, machinery, supplying so many stores, plus lecturing at the same time. So, I mean, I was running my company, going to lecture at the university, uh, and then on Fridays, I would just be like deliveries. I would go and physically deliver all my things. And I thought, let me work it a bit smarter this time, because I had to close everything down, like shut down when I moved to Dubai. It couldn't run without me being there and overseeing everything. Um, so I thought this time, God forbid my husband says we need to move again, I don't have to shut down my company. I can still run it and we can still continue to do things even if I'm physically not there. Because we have the patterns, it's all digitized. We know where we're getting our fabric from, we know our suppliers. Everything with technology is amazing. You can see things, you can do things. So I think it was just like one of those things that this is the way we're going to do things this time round, and it came from trial and error. So I think if like you have to be very strong-headed if you want to run your company, and also you need to know what your priorities are, like family, business. What is your challenges, and can you manage it? Because as wonderful as it sounds, it's not that wonderful. It's not always easy. It's not always easy, and I would think that um, if you have lots of kids and they need you, then you need to prioritize um, on doing that. But yeah, if you feel you need to do it, you should just do it, because you don't want to live with regrets. And that was my thing. I don't want to live with the regret of, hey, I didn't do it. But I also want to show my son that, like, listen, this is what I do. This is who I am. and this is my company, this is ours, so I wanted him to also feel like he's part of this journey. So I mean, even now he says, when he takes over Ido, and I'm like thinking, okay, but I'm not forcing you to do it, but if you want to, it's like something that that we've grown together and we're doing these things together. So I mean, I think you need to just balance that out and see how you feel about it. It's a personal choice at the end of the day.
Nice. I'm going to dive into my favorite section. It's the rapid fire. I
Okay.
so I'm going to like shoot you with a few questions, and you can just give me your immediate thoughts.
Okay.
Okay, favorite movie or book?
I think it was Fifth Element. Like I was a student back then, and the designer was Jean-Paul Gaultier, so he was one of my favorites back then. Favorite book? I don't really have a favorite book. I'm not much of a reader. I'm a Instagram scroller, but don't think if I had to pick up a book, it would be something in design. Yeah,
And what are you doing when you're not working?
sleeping. No, I'm at a dance class or just chilling with my family.
And any comfort food that you go to?
Chips.
Nice.
I love chips.
And what is the one thing that you know now that you wish you knew when you started the Ido Movement?
It's not easy. Just take the journey as it comes, because I also thought I created and it would just fly off the shelves. No, but the reality is it's a lot of work and patience.
Mhm.
I think I have a lot of patience.
And if a 9-year-old had to design a place of dance wear, what do
Yes.
you think would that look like?
Oh, I have all these 9-year-olds that come from all the gymnastics and acro schools, and they just want it to have holes in it and color and sequins.
Mhm.
They love sequins. I mean, I do a lot of costumes for little girls, and they love the glitz and the glam, sequins and stones.
Uh,
I think.
what are the values that you take to your business on a daily basis?
Um, it needs to be sustainable. It needs to be affordable, and it needs to have longevity.
Mhm.
So that's the main things.
And the family's values that you like hope to bring in into your family as well, like the value.
For me, the family value is, do things that you love doing. And I say that to my kid as well. I said, mommy does it because she loves it. And you see him repeat that. Some days I'm so busy making costumes. I haven't slept, haven't eaten, and I'm so busy. And, like the family will be like, you need to rest. And he'll be like, yeah, mommy will rest when she's done because she loves doing it. She doesn't do
Wow.
it because she wants to do it. She does it because she loves it, right? So the thing is like doing things that you truly love doing, that fill that void. And when you don't feel like you're loving it anymore, then you need to switch something up,
Mhm.
because you shouldn't be stuck in this circle where you're not enjoying doing something. So sometimes also when I'm doing so much of costume, I just need to step back because I don't feel creative anymore. It's like, they say writer's block. It's creative block is also there. You just cannot push anymore. And then you need to just step back, rethink what you're doing and what's not serving you anymore, and then move on. And I mean, it's easy to say, yes, this and that, but at the end of the day, yes, money is important and everything, but for me, it's always been a thing where, as a creative and someone that has a trade skill, it doesn't date. Like you'll always have something coming in because you have a skill.
Mhm.
It's not something that it can like you can just lose it. You just keep working on that. So if I'm not making something for the Ido movement, I'm making something for something else. But again, it's around the skill that I have. So I always have work. And then I can choose whether I want to take it or don't take it. And is it going to be helping the company? And again, is it sustaining the company? Because running a company is costly. And I need to balance up like selling my soul and feeding my soul. So I always try to just balance it out, because at the end of the day I'm like, I ain't gonna kill myself.
I'm going to ask for some personal advice here from you. I've been in that moment too, like I'm in the creative block, and then I push through that long enough, and then I feel like I'm burning out. Have you experienced the same? And like,
Of course, because again it's the demand, right? Because um again, when I do a lot of work, and especially when I'm creating a lot of costumes and stuff, I'm just doing everything, and I'm not feeling anything. I'm just on a machine. But then I need to, after that project, I really need to step out, do nothing, even if it means lying on that couch or sitting on the beach for a few hours to kind of connect with myself again. And like, again, take a class, step away so that I don't get that burnout, because I feel like sometimes I'm like so depleted. Like this December, I was working throughout, and then I was so depleted. I was like, I just can't anymore. I need to step out and fix myself. And then again, I just go back into class, take as many as I can, meet with people, feel their energy. Again, it's like people are natural medicine. Some people are really good for your soul. So I find like going to a class and meeting some of the instructors or students, they're just so good for your soul. And then I feel the energy back again. So I go through that cycles. And I think as creators, we go through the cycles more. We like on a high, then we're on a low, then we're on a high, then we're on a low. And I think it's normal. It's normal. But again, I told myself this year I need to listen to my body more and my heart more to actually know that the direction I'm going is what I want. Because I'm not looking to build a monster. I'm looking to build something that's beautiful, you know. Um, and I mean, I've worked with some mentors as well, because our company was selected as one of the, like, out of 360 startups in the UAE GCC region. We were like one of 8 that was standing, and then we had many mentors. And one of the mentors that I would stick in my mind for a long time is Raj. He owns Mama Letta, the pizza brand. And he gave us a talk, and he said, when you have your own company, you see this. He showed us an image of a Porsche, and he showed us, it's souped up. It's like got the biggest wheels, the biggest um, spoilers, whatever on it. Amazing color. And then when you get people in there to say, do this, do this, do this, do this. And then he showed us a bucky. The Porsche had turned into a bucky with, like, you can have bricks on it, and it's got a bumper, and it was like the worst looking thing under the sun. And he, this vision that stayed in my head is like, this is your vision. This is what you want. You don't change it because people tell you need to change it. Yes, you take the advice. But at the end of the day, if it's not something that you envision it to be, then you're doing it wrong. And I stick with that, because I think at the end of the day, I don't need to be proving anything to anyone. This is for me. This is what I want to do. And along the way, there's all the people that will join. And it's a sense of community at the end of the day, because I really think that is why I also created it, is because the inspiration that came from the community I'm part of. And still the community grows, So I think, again, just the burnout will always be there. There'll always be ups and downs. But then you push through, and then the growth happens, right? So that's what it is.
You spoke about mentors. Like, that's a very interesting topic. Like, at what point did you meet these mentors? Was it a natural, transition into growth, or like, did you actively look out for mentors?
They just came along the way. And I must say, as I was saying, I studied design, and then at 21 I became a lecturer at the university. And again, the mentoring I got from the older lecturers that were there already, who are still my friends today, was incredible, because the way they shaped the way we thought. And then coming to Dubai and, just working with like choreographers and people that are in the creative industry, again, sparks the way you think. And then again, doing the masters and like, again, just reading up on Japanese designers, and then speaking, like going to Japan and speaking to people there, and going to all these designing dabas and reading about all these people that were like, what is the future of fashion? What is like Ido quote, she's like this trends forecaster of how we should be thinking and how we should be feeling. And I think her talks was one of the ones that also resonates with me, because she doesn't look at what's happening in papers. She goes around the world just feeling things and seeing things, and then she'll be like, and she was so right, the next 20 years would be about going back to homegrown, going back to the earth, growing your own food, thinking about your health. And she said this, what was it, like 10 years, 15 years ago? And these are things we're doing now. And she's just one that says you should look at your environment and see what is happening. You cannot be rushing around. You need to slow down and look around. And with this New York University and Alta Properties, we were just given so many mentors to, tell our story, how to speak, how to how to run your business. I mean, you don't always need to do everything they're saying. Like for me, I'm very select. I'm like, things will stick with me. I'm like, no, I don't want to do this. I want to do that. But for me, the main thing is just seeing how I feel in the moment, and basically taking from like, how can this work in what I'm doing.
The definition of a mentor is so loose.
Yeah.
In your head, like, who's a mentor to you? Like, how would you define a mentor?
Um, I would think like my dad is my biggest mentor because of the way he lives his life. I mean, being a medical doctor, growing up apartheid South Africa, having to jump on a boat to go and study in India because we weren't allowed to study in South Africa, then coming back and not again switching off the fact that he had this creative side. Like he had this degree, a medical degree. And he was like, this is not really me. I still want to run my dance school. And I mean, to this day, he's such a like creative, so I think like for me, a mentor is someone that inspires me and makes me think, out of the box, or makes me think like there's not one way, there's many ways. And I think also one thing I learned growing up is you don't have to be one thing. When how do you define yourself? Like some people ask me, how do you define yourself? And like what do you do? Like I can't even put that in a sentence because I do so many things. And I think as my dad was the same, because being a medical doctor running 3 practices in rural Africa, and then still coming and teaching, what was it, we were like 150 kids 3 times a week in a community, and putting up shows every year. Like how do you do that? And my mom was social worker making costumes, so my mother was sewing actual costumes. um, Again, like, it's like, if you ask a kid what would they want to be when they grow up, my someone asked my son that, and he named like a few things. And then the guy said to him, but you can only be one. He's like, no. It's again that mindset. You don't have to be one thing. Because again, who said you need to be one thing? Maybe you're on the wrong path. You need to do something else, or you're dabbling in a whole lot of different things to figure out who you are. So for me, a mentor is someone that just inspires me and makes me open my mind to different things. So
We've seen growth now. How do you intend to give back to like either mentors or people who helped you?
So I still do a lot of, if I do guest lecturing when I'm in South Africa, even when I do any talks, I'm happy to do that. Also, a lot of people phone me to say, can I give them business advice of like how I'm running my company or whatever. So I still give back to that. And I think the biggest way I give back is the dance community. Like, I mean, I know they don't have lots of money. I know they're struggling, just to get through. And it's like the oddest thing, because these are the creators, but they don't have like housing, medicals, this, that, and the other, like what a normal job should have. So I always try to help them with like, uh, costume, set connection, anything I can do from there. So I think that's the way I give back also. And again, just educating them about what we should be doing and what we shouldn't be doing with clothing. So I try to think of that, of how we can give back.
And where can we see the Ido movement in the next 10 years?
I don't know. I don't know where I'm going to be next year. But again, I take it as it comes. I never wanted a store, because I don't believe in the philosophy of, you have the store and then you're filling it up with things you don't want to fill it up with. Yes, I wanted to grow, but I wanted to grow organically, and again, just like an online platform where you can get really good quality, and again, keep working with creatives. So I mean, um, like even now we asking, like, you're looking for interns to help us to grow, to test our products, to take some, videos and things, to see just like how we could like inspire people to think the way we not we think they should be thinking, but think and feel of what you want to do, or how you want to feel about making these things, or how you would change it. Like you say, like what a 9-year-old would be doing if they were designing an outfit, what she should be thinking of, like would you think of the environment, or would you think about um Barbie and hers, a cerise pink or hot pink outfit? It's again that mindset of how the visuals we see on TV and all the programs we be inspired by, or look up to, eh, go and filter into your life. So the thing is, for me, it's like this whole educational thing where I think we need to question the way we think.
And my last and final question here: how do you think AI will impact the industry?
I think it's already impacting us so much. I mean, now, I used to be a very hands-on, let me take out my Copic markers and do an illustration, and I still love doing it.
Mhm.
But in recent times, I'm working with some people, and they're like, can you do an AI render? Like, yeah, sure. Like, I just have to type it in and do it. And even with my graphic designer, he's like so scared because he's like, AI is going to take my job. But then I always think like it's going to take our jobs. But it's also going to help us a lot because it's going to save us a lot of time. Like I see it saving me a lot of time with my social media and all of that things. So what do we do with the free time then? We need to go back to how we feel, right?
Mhm.
But again, as a trade skill, I would still have that because I don't know if AI is going to be able to sew my outfits, okay? Or is AI going to connect with my community? So I think it's going to give me a lot more time to connect and create, but it's going to do the hard work for me, And eventually, maybe the robot will be sewing the clothes, which will be great because a couple of years ago, I think it was about almost 20 years ago, they already started creating like a machine that you just you slot in some plastic or whatever it is, and it like you type in things and an outfit comes out, and then like it took 2-3 hours. I mean, maybe it was 10 years ago, but I'm sure that that's going to be the future where we all kind of designing our own things. And that's why I don't know where Ido will be in 10 years, but like I said, it's something that I do for my soul. But I think that's going to be the future where we all have a printer at home, and then you have a picture, and then you've taken all the plastic bottles or your old clothes and you just shove it into a machine, and it's going to create something new so that every day you have something new to wear. But I see that it's going to really impact, and I mean it's doing it at such a fast rate. Like I don't think people can even keep up with what is happening. But I figured that people will have, like, if you hear all these people that are teaching you about AI, it's how it's saving you time. Saving you time, but then what are you doing with your free time? So it's about going back to living simpler because AI is doing everything for you. So yeah, I don't know. I look forward to the next interview.
I really hope we can go to a 4-day work week with
Oh,
AI.
I could hope for a 1 day work week. When you just live a life because at the end of the day, it's like we're still in this hamster wheel where we need to get up, do this, do that. And I see it with even like how we're training our kids. Like 7:30 school starts, you need to be there whether you're tired or not. You need to be there, you need to do your thing, come out, you depleted. you know um we're just churning out like sheep. And I like my husband doesn't agree with it, but I think we should be homeschooling because at least they can become, or he can become, like his own individual. But then there's all that, oh, you need social interaction, this and that. Yes, we understand all those things, but it's so difficult because we're so ingrained in like, go to work, you know, switch on your laptop, do your thing, and then clock out, like as a creative, I never had that, and I would tell you the story that my husband thought was just completely ridiculous because I had never worked a full day in my life. So I used to work as a lecturer at the university in South Africa. So I only had my time slot. So if I start the lecture at this time, I end at this time, I leave, and then I run my own company. So when I got to Dubai, I didn't have like a job, and I was like dabbling around, and I eventually joined one company, and they said, you need to do all these things. And I like did everything, and I finished up, and I went home, and my husband was like, "What are you doing at home?" I thought you went to work today. And I'm like, I did. I finished. He's like, do you know you have to sit there till that time? It was so over my head. I was like, but I did my work. What do you mean I had to sit there? It was not something that I thought was normal. And he was like, so like, I don't think you're going to last there. And I didn't, because I didn't see the point in sitting there and waiting for the time to go when I've done my work. Like, I just saw no value in that. And that's why I also think it's like with AI, it's speeding up everything we're doing. So what are we doing with our free time? Are we looking after our health, our mental health? That's so important. Are we spending more time with our families? Yes, 4-day work weeks, 3-day work weeks. We need these things because we need to spend more time in the environment. We need to teach our kids to grow their own food, to fend for themselves, because in the future, we don't know what's going to happen. But as long as they can feed themselves and maybe know how to farm, maybe that would help, because we don't know what's going to happen, and it's changing every day so quickly. And the people talking going to the moon, going here, going there. No, we're going to be on Earth, and we need to figure out how we're going to make it healthy enough for us to live here.
It's amazing. I really hope your one day a week manifestation comes true.
Yeah,
This has
I
been an
hope
amazing
too.
conversation. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you so much, Suraj. This was amazing, and I hope I didn't bore you.
No, it is so much to take back. Thank you so much.